welcome to my vlog. I have been watching some children's online games on fact or opinion. And the reason I've been doing so is because it seems that most people that I speak with have a misunderstanding of fact and opinion. And from playing the game, it seems pretty obvious as why we might have a problem with understanding fact and opinion. As the children's game was wrong as well with explaining fact or opinion. The last one I just watched said everybody thinks that Bob's tie is ugly or something like that. And the correct answer according to the game was that this was an opinion. But that is false. If I am in a classroom and there was a poll taken and everybody in the classroom stated that Bob's tie was ugly, it would be a fact to state that everybody thinks Bob's tie is ugly. Now if I said I believe or I think Bob's tie is ugly, that is my opinion. But when I make a statement about what everybody says and take a poll to prove it, that is no longer an opinion but a fact about what everybody has said. It is testable and determined that it's fact. But this is a minor issue in regards to what I really want to talk about, because what I really want to talk about is how I run into this so frequently. As a matter of fact, someone that I discuss things with on Facebook rather often recently said that we disagree all the time. And I don't really understand where it is that we disagree, because I usually simply question how this person has the knowledge that he claims to have. I don't know where that is a disagreement. I am simply attempting to ask how one could come to such knowledge. Now I am pointing to a difference of, or maybe not a difference of, but a place where this person is missing the matter of facts, but it is not yet an opinion. And this is so common. If I give a syllogism, and a syllogism is an argument, the most basic argument that's used so frequently is all men are mortal and Socrates is a man. Therefore, what is the conclusion? If all men are mortal and Socrates is a man, then Socrates is mortal. Now, if we are having a discussion and you agree that Socrates is a man, and you agree that all men are mortal, and then I say, therefore, Socrates is mortal, and you go, well, that's your opinion. No, that's not an opinion at that point. That is a logical deduction. It's like saying, well, here are two apples, and here are two apples. And if we have put the two together, we have four. And somebody says, no, that's your opinion. No, this logic is like math, in that it is the deducing aspect of it is mathematical. It's certain. It's not a matter of opinion at that point. Now, the part that becomes an opinion is the terms. So if I say Socrates is mortal and all men are mortal, therefore Socrates is mortal, you can easily say, well, what is mortality exactly? See, if you mean by mortality that they die and they're gone forever, then I disagree. Now we're really having an argument. Now we're communicating. Now we're discussing a term. But you can't simply disagree with the conclusion after you've affirmed all the premises leading up to that conclusion. These things happen so frequently. I mean, the other day I had a discussion and somebody says, well, I disagree with the things this person says. It's like, what? I know this. I've read many things this person writes, and I'm kind of scratching my head going, where? Which premise would you disagree with? The author is so great at deducing. If this is true and then this is true, then the conclusion is likewise true. And many people go, yeah, that's true and that's true. Oh, I disagree with him on that. But you can't. If you agree with the premise here and you agree with the premise there, then you have to agree with the conclusion. It's not up for debate. You've already affirmed the leading up to. You've already agreed that there's two apples here and there's two apples here. You cannot now say that when you put them together, it's not four. Now, you can say, that's probably only counted as half an apple. I wouldn't count that as a whole apple. Now we're talking about something different. But it's not a matter of opinion to disagree with the conclusion. If I give my premises correctly and you agree with my premises, you cannot disagree with the conclusion. And this fact and opinion thing that I just watched, one of the others was Bob's pants are awesome. Is this a fact or an opinion? Now, I agree that this is an opinion. But if we define awesome as provoking awe or getting attention, then this can be tested and proven as a matter of fact. So it comes back to the terms again. We have to define awesome. If by awesome you mean I like it, now it's pure opinion. But if you are trying to say that it provokes something in other things, or those pants are bright, well, we need to define bright. And if, according to the definition of bright, the fact of whether it's a fact or opinion is now debatable. I remember doing this in elementary school, and I remember being confused. And I think, you know those times when you're in elementary school or middle school, and I look back on them now and I'm like, no wonder I was having a problem with it. It's one of those things that as a student, and I've always been like this. I remember in 3rd grade I made the teacher tell the answer to a test by accident. But these things happen because I'm scratching my head going, I'm thinking about it really, you know? Like, I don't understand how that makes sense. Because if this and that, then this. And so I was one of those students that overthought some of my questions until I realized that it was a race, and then I wanted to get done first. I didn't overthink them. But when the teacher was discussing it out loud, I was always ready to make it, to overthink it. But now, that in and of itself is a great question. Is it possible to overthink something? No! You can't overthink something. You can think wrongly about something, which means maybe you are making something more simple too complex, but that is also something that humans do. We make things complex. Lots of things are simple by their essence, but we, because of our need for understanding, make them complex. And then the world is very complex, so it brings about a necessity to make things complex. And so this is, I was going to make this a different vlog, but it seems to be relating right now. Like, let's take football. Somebody says, oh, they shouldn't have won that game because this was a bad call and that was a bad call. And then somebody else goes, well, you're making it too complicated. The scoreboard said they lost. Yeah, but did you see? No, you're making it too complicated. And usually what happens here is somebody is a big fan of football. They study football. They love football. They watch it a lot. And so they know plays and they know these different things. And somebody can explain football to somebody, and the other person's going, well, isn't it just about who wins? Well, it is about who wins, but it's more complicated than that. And this happens with so many things that we discuss. This happens to me with theology and philosophy all the time. I get blamed as making it more complex than it is. Well, the more you get into something, the more complex you realize that things really are. And the more you love something, the more I love football, the more I know what's going on. And the more I know what's going on, the more I see it. Now, somebody can come and say, isn't it about who has the highest score on the scoreboard at the end? Well, yes, this is true, but it's more complex than that as well. You can simplify it. You can put it in simplified terms and say, the point of the football game is to have the most points on the scoreboard at the end, but there's thousands of ways to put points on the scoreboard. And this is what's true of theology, and that's what's true of philosophy. And this is one of the reasons I'm making this vlog, because things are more complicated than simply your opinion. If we come to terms, which it seems nobody likes to do, then we can determine whether things are fact or opinion. So this is my plea. I plea with you to stop saying, well, that's your opinion and this is my opinion. Determine whether or not this is something that you can have an opinion on, or whether or not it's a fact and you need to subject yourself to what the facts are. I think I'm going to do several vlogs on logic, so perhaps I can help restore America to what Thomas Jefferson said when he said, if America loses its logic, it will also lose its democracy. I think he's right. I think we are losing our democracy. Have you watched many of the speeches and stuff? It is so shallow. That guy's bad, and I am good. That guy's bad and I am good. He says bad things. I say good things. No. We're like kindergartners on the playground that can't decide, or dogs fighting over a bone. It's mine. No, it's mine. He's bad. He's good. You know, there's no real deduction. There's no terms being argued with. They simply want to tax the poor, and they simply want to be immoral. Well, it's probably not that simple. It's probably more complex. As a matter of fact, it's not probably more complex. It is more complex. And if we would come to terms with one another, if we would try to understand the other person's point of view, then we can actually debate and discuss, and maybe the terms will enlighten us to figure out how to truly do bipartisan type stuff or communication so as to reach a common goal of truth, goodness, and even beauty with these type things. I hope this helps.